Well, Joe Launchbury, only 5 minutes ago you're stacking shelves in the supermarket. Now you're preparing for your first Six Nations campaign. You must be so excited.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind couple of years, and especially the last 6 months have been crazy to sort of take the jump from club rugby to international rugby. Has taken a bit of getting used to, but I've really enjoyed it since I've been here, and I'd like to think I've made the most of it during the autumn.
Well, you've certainly made the most of it. Now, you mentioned club rugby. Let's go even further. This time last year, you were playing for a club which you didn't even know would survive, not just as a Premiership club, but even just survive full stop. You were as close as you can get to relegation. 12 months on, you've already played in, you're man of the series, for goodness sake, in the autumn internationals, and you're playing for a club, Wasps, who are currently in the playoffs. That's a fairly good 12 months, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the individual stuff I've picked up along the way has a massive part to thank for the work what's happened at Wasps. I think it's been fantastic the way things have been turned around. I think last year perhaps the way we finished and the position we ended up in was kind of forced upon us by all the injuries. I think no one would have ever wished that, and anyone who was sort of planning the squad at the start of the year would never have expected so many injuries. So the squad we ended up with were obviously not quite there for Premiership, and we really struggled, and to be fair we did well to stay in the league. But this year's been completely different, and we're really enjoying our rugby, and we're getting some good results.
Well, you know, with respect, there were a lot of boys playing last year, including yourself, Billy, Elliot, numbers, and Tom Van Dale described you as boys who turned to men, and maybe now you're men for this year. But maybe on the back of that experience and sort of not wanting to return to those days, has probably helped.
Yeah, I think that all plays a part. I think some people get a certain season or a certain sort of game which sort of prepares them for things, and I think us, the younger players and a team, we learnt a lot last year. In a lot of ways it was quite good, because we had a real tough time and we didn't get things easy. A lot of young guys sort of get drip fed rugby. They come on for the last 20 minutes and when teams are winning, and it's nice and easy for them to make an impact. We had it the complete opposite, and I'd like to think it's put us in good stead. Yeah.
Now, last game that you played for England was some people say the greatest performance ever seen at Twickenham, and you played your part. You've had a little bit of time to reflect on that. You can't rest in your laurels because you've got a massive game ahead of you in a few days' time. But you're still pinching yourself over what you guys did against that team and your own personal experience.
Yeah, the personal experience was fantastic. I'll remember that day for a long time. But in terms of that, I went straight back into the club the next day. And that's kind of the way you kind of forget about what's happened. And
how do they treat you at the club when you walked in the next day?
The normal way in any sports team, got called every nickname under the sun and stuff like that. But that's fantastic. They've been great with me, really, and brought me back down to earth if I needed that, and it's been great. But no, it was a great day, and in terms of that, we've got to part of that now and move on to the Six Nations. We don't want to be a team who are sort of up and down in what we do. We want to build on that performance now.
Well, you've got every right to be confident, but you know, when you first play Test rugby, there's probably a few questions that you need to ask yourself. Are you really good enough? Can you do it at that level? Did you sort of go through that process? How nervous were you at the beginning, and what did you discover about yourself?
I think that's part of my character. I've done that every rugby I've played. I think county rugby, sort of Worthing, breaking into the Wasps team. I've been like that for a long time. I believe you've got to go in and try and earn your stripes by playing well, and hopefully I did that. But no, I learned a lot about my game. Just the environment here, it's a great environment to be part of, and you're here sort of day in, day out, learning a lot of some great players. Now,
the generation before you in your position were basically big lumps, occasionally enforcers, didn't do an awful lot more. You are an all singing and dancing modern rugby player, great ball skills. Are you a bit of an all-rounder? Could you play a few sports? You look like you can catch a ball.
I played a bit of cricket and football at school, but I think now I've kind of lost those skills and they've sort of been transferred to rugby. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's kind of the way rugby's going now. It's not so much about size and weight. It's more about sort of
putting yourself about
and what you can do around the pitch and the skills you have. And I think the team we've got here is a young team, but and perhaps in some ways not the biggest, but we've hopefully got some skills.
Now, Six Nations. I assume you've grown up watching the Six Nations. You've heard a lot about the Six Nations. You've never experienced the Six Nations, which you're about to do. You've just beaten New Zealand. What's there to worry about? Nothing could be bigger than that. Well, Scotland in the Six Nations, suddenly, because it's Scotland and because it's England, is massive.
Yeah, I think if you look at the previous records over the last sort of 4 years we've been very, very close. I don't think Scotland will ever give you an easy game, and I'm sure next week it'll be no different. But like you said, I think the Six Nations can be fantastic. I can't wait to play my part in it. I've grown up sort of watching it and going to Twickenham as a young guy with my dad, and then going with my friends when I was a bit older and stuff like that. And that's been fantastic, and I've loved that. And yeah, the Six Nations is something special.
So they've been in Canberra scouring the crowd, what, 5, 6, 7 years ago? There would have been a young Joe Launchbury singing Chariots, and I don't know, who are your heroes?
Yeah, I would have been in there somewhere, but no, I think obviously that era is easy to say, but that sort of 2003 World Cup winning team was fantastic, and Martin Johnson and then Laura Talalio at Wasps, yeah, they've been sort of good heroes of mine, really. Yeah,
well, they're not bad guys to have as heroes. Joe, good to meet you. Best of luck for the Six Nations. Just keep on doing what you're doing.
Cheers. I'm going to go warm up now.